What's going on, everybody? Dave here at the Reef Aquarium shop in Indianapolis, Indiana. It is Tuesday and I am late. I already pushed this back to 6:30 this evening because I knew I was going to be running behind. I had to go out to the airport and pick up a huge shipment of corals. And this actually, if you watched our TikTok or Instagram, Facebook stories today, you saw that we got a big shipment of coral in. This isn't even that shipment. That was actually last week. Got 7 boxes of corals in. That was like 63 pieces, something like that. This week, today, moments ago, why I am running so behind is because we were behind at the airport, of course. Today I bring back 9 boxes, which is like 200 and something pieces of coral. So if you thought that was a decent sized shipment in the stories that you saw today on our other platforms, hot dang, this was bigger. I didn't even have time to get any footage of it because I was in the truck. It's been a rush today. But here we are, and I am super excited to be with you today. If you are new, welcome, welcome. I see some returning watchers in the chat. What's going on, Audrey and fam? Speaking of the chat, at the end of the stream, I'm kind of switching it up. I was kind of just interjecting, grabbing those questions that you had in the comments kind of throughout the video. I'm going to switch it up and start doing those at the very end of the stream, all in one chunk, so that I can get my information across well, and not go on a bunch of rabbit holes. Which is great. I do love going down those, but we're going to save them all for the end. So, yeah, what's going on, Kristen? Welcome, welcome. Again, if you do have questions about what we're talking about today, which is going to be bettas, and I posed the question, is the betta actually a good fish for beginners? So we're going to talk about that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Also, if you have any questions about bettas or even just the aquarium hobby in general or the Reef Aquarium shop, drop them in the comments at any point during this live stream, and I will do my best to get to all of those at the end of this stream. Again, do my best. I'm sorry if I missed some. I will just yell at me and I'll try to get back with you after we go down, probably like tomorrow or the next day or something like that, whenever I see the comments. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into the point at hand, which is bettas. Before I go into the answer to this question, I do have a bit of an announcement to make, and that is that our Facebook contest this week, or month, we do a monthly photo contest, or it has been a photo contest, and we've been doing that for a few years now. And we do a new theme every month, and you just send in your submissions to us. We pick the top 2, and then you guys get to vote on those top 2, and then they win a prize pack at the end, which traditionally has been a t-shirt, a Reef t-shirt, and a gift certificate to the shop. So this month, what's going on, everybody? Just saying hey to everybody. Mark, Ryan, Star City Reef, what's going on? Ooh, nice. Thank you, Star City. Star City Reef reminds us that we have an INDMAS meeting this Saturday. And Star City, if you want to post any more information on that in the comments, please feel free to do so, and I will regurgitate that out to everyone else as well. I'm distracted, otherwise I would just pop it up myself. So drop that in the comments and I will expand. But INDMAS is the local saltwater aquarium club, the Indiana Marine Aquarium Society, and they have their meeting this Saturday. Check Star City's comments for more information about that, or you can go to inmas.org or inmas.com. and check out what they've got going on. I'll write some clarification for that in the comments, or we'll talk about that a little later when I can get into it. Nice. So speaking of rabbit holes and why I'm trying not to do them, there I go right off the bat. Anyways, so betas, and this month the photo contest is not going to be a photo contest at all. We have been doing contests that basically, except for October's where we do pumpkin carvings, all of our other contests are geared toward people who already have tanks. So we were thinking about how we could include other people to maybe bring them into the hobby. So we thought what would be cool is to get a art contest going, a drawing contest. The theme is going to be betas, and I'm kind of just going to be talking about betas all this month, different aspects, products and things of that nature, reviews. We're going to be going over a bunch of different things in the month of March, and I am very excited to get detailed and talk about just a bunch of different aspects of beta keeping with you guys. So very cool stuff going on. I'm very excited for this contest. Again, it's not a photo contest this month for our Facebook. It is going to be a drawing contest. And the theme is going to be betas. Now, not only are we changing up that aspect of the contest this month, we are changing up the prize pack this month. What? So this is a really juicy prize pack, you guys. Since the theme is betas and the goal is to bring in new hobbyists into the new hobbyists into the hobby, new people into the hobby, we're gonna do a beta setup, and I'm gonna show you what that looks like right now. But this is also going to answer the question of, are betas actually a good fish for beginners? Absolutely. They can go in a variety of different setups, and a lot of people think that you can put them in some simpler setups, but they're not really comfortable, and we're going to dive into that in just a moment. But let me show you this prize pack. So the biggest piece of the bundle here is going to be this Decoria. I am super excited about this. This is from Cobalt, and it is a hand-blown piece of glass, and I will, let's just pop it out here, shall we? I wonder how this glass is going to do on the green screen. That would be interesting. So I'm going to pop this Decoria out of the box, and this is going to come with much more than just this. It's going to be the whole kit, and the caboodle, mind you. Oh my goodness. This is, it's weighty, so it's obviously going to be some, okay, that's how it's going to act with this green screen. This is the Cobalt Aquarium. There we go. Alright, so this is going to be a little skewed, but you kind of hopefully saw it on the box there. It's a decent size. It's super cool, seamless, and it just creates a unique seams, unique lines. I don't know necessarily how to describe it. Ryan says, I've got 2 Decorias. Love them. And you can see some of those on his Instagram, actually. So that's the big item on the prize pack. But we are going to be including, I mean, the next biggest item, I say that's the big item, that's the container. This is a Cobalt Light, noticing a bit of a theme here. This is a Cobalt Light that will fit right over it. It is the Daylight, not the Plant Grow Light, and I'm going to show you why in just a moment. Sometimes plants can be, live plants can be a little intimidating to a beginner. So, we're gonna pop this guy. Nope, it's not gonna work. Alright. I didn't think about that. Excellent. So, I guess I should have tested this in front of the green screen, you know, green thing. Whatever. Anyway, so I could do a blue screen, but Anyway, so this is a plant that's going to go in there, a plastic plant. Looks amazing, take my word for it. Next up, we've got the heater. That's going to be a little Aquatop Nano Aquarium heater, preset to 77, and it's good for like 2 to 6 or 2 to 5 gallons, something like that. And these guys are great. It's what I'm using on my micro pond in my office. Then you've got the substrate for the bottom, a small grade gravel, which is something I typically prefer. In addition to that, we've got the Reef Flowers Beta Bonnie, which is just a chemical that's going to bring you to the correct conditions that you want for your beta. I believe. Well, I know that. Yep. And then, last but certainly not least, we've got the food for it. So, again, everything you need. Now, you're probably wondering, now, Dave, you rattled off all those things and didn't list a filter. A filter is absolutely going to be coming with this setup. We just didn't have it in stock today, so I couldn't show it to you. But by the time this contest is done, this is also going to have a nice, small, adjustable flow nano hang-on-the-back filter that's going to go with it. So again, you've got your whole kit and caboodle. I'm pumped about it. So, if you want to enter that, I actually haven't made the official announcement. I leaked it on someone else's, on Ryan's Instagram page, actually, yesterday. And this is the first time we're actually announcing it. So tomorrow I will actually be dropping the big announcement on Facebook, and then you can start making your entries. But if you're not following us on Facebook yet, that's going to be, just look up TheReefIndy, and we will be right there. Now, one big thing to note is this is going to be a local pickup only. So you are, I'm not going to ship any of this. So you must be, I don't care where you are, but you do have to be willing to come to Indianapolis, Indiana to pick this up. And before I get on into things, that is a fantastic question. I was talking about INDMAS a moment ago, and I've got a couple more questions. I'm going to direct you to the website, but I won't be going to confirm. Come on, computer, I believe in you. Yeah, it's just going to be INDMAS.org, and you can check out all the information there. I believe you can become a member there as well. If not, you're going to get much more information on that. Max had the question, how do I become a part of INDMAS? So, INDMAS.org, they've got their meeting coming up this Saturday, so go check them out. Betas, let's talk about them. So, people are constantly getting into the hobby with betas, and they do indeed make a fantastic fish for beginners. But as typical, or as you may have heard, we set them up wrong all the time. Now, can a beta go in a smaller tank without a filter? Absolutely, if done properly. But beginners are typically not on the level to start paying attention to those things. So having filtration, heat, is going to be key. Now, yes, 3.2 gallons is a touch on the small side, but if we're keeping up with our water changes, it's going to be perfectly fine. Now, That being said, obviously the bigger the better as far as your containers, but you don't want to put them in a super huge tank. A while back, when we put in that 450 gallon freshwater tank that we keep all of our monster fish in, we put, just as a bit of a joke, we put a beta in there for a minute to introduce some ammonia. It's honestly wasn't really introducing enough ammonia in a 450 gallon to do much of anything, but Kevin thought it would make a cool photo op, so we did it anyway. We took some pictures of a beta in a 450 gallon tank, and that got a lot of traction on the interwebs for some reason. I wonder why. But that is not something that you actually want to house a beta in long term, unless like it's specifically it wouldn't be ideal, no. Just because they expend a lot of energy trying to like get up to the top. They like to rest on things. Yeah, for a number of different reasons, it's not ideal. So again, because it does need a relatively small tank, again, makes a fantastic fish for someone who's just getting into the hobby. Betas are super forgiving. Not that you should lapse on your water changes or filter changes or anything like that, but let's face it, again, as beginners, we forget things a lot, or we just let it go a lot. So yeah. Excuse me. Again, betas do indeed make a fantastic fish for beginners. You do want to set them up properly. If you're just starting into the hobby, I wouldn't recommend putting it in just like a container without a filter. It's difficult to maintain anything like that. If you've seen my micro pond videos, you might notice that I don't actually have a true filter on it, but I have a ridiculous amount of plants in there, and I have a circulating pump creating flow in the tank, making oxygen for the beneficial bacteria. I do probably 30 to 50% water changes on it once every week to once every other week. It is roughly about 8 gallons, and it does house a sorority of 4 betas, koi betas in there, females. And every time I test that water with that regimen and that many plants, it's testing out super clean. I'm always surprised that it's just that clean with 4 betas in there, being an 8 gallon. And sometimes I do laps. I go like every other week or something on my water changes, and I just don't have time. It happens. And yeah, it's just never been an issue for me. So yes, can you do it without an actual filter? Successfully, for sure. But yeah, it's just not as easy for beginners. You got to really be paying attention to things. So again, having a filter helps. Doing somewhere in like the 10 to 15 gallon range, if you're trying to do the beta with anything else, is going to be more ideal. But the setup we have for this contest in particular is geared towards just kind of keeping that beta singly. That again is something that I recommend for beginners, just because if you're can I keep this thing alive? It is usually the rating on whether you can go up to a bigger tank or not. I'm upgrading my tank. I kept this beta alive for 2 years, so I guess I can do something right. Let's get this 20 gallon or something like that. That is just super common. And it's kind of funny because it's almost the opposite, honestly, because if you think about it, the larger the tank you get, the easier it is to maintain. But logistically, large tanks aren't always great for beginners. So again, we fall back onto something that's just super easy. Because they are kept in smaller containers, I'm typically feeding my betas every other day. I know some people who are feeding their betas on a like 2 or 3 time a week basis, and some people are like, oh my goodness, that's why aren't you feeding your fish? But that's I mean, that's kind of it's kind of normal in the wild. Not that any of these fish have ever seen actual like outside waters, but no, that's kind of just typical for fish. They will absolutely train you to feed them more just by begging. They're really good at that. My betas have learned that it doesn't work, so they just don't anymore. Actually, I'm trying to get them to come up to the front of the pond every time I tap on the edge to get them to come up for feeding. So I've been doing it for not very long, and they don't get it yet. But I am working on getting some footage of that, so that hopefully, if they do start doing it, I can show you a progression of how they learn. So yeah, that's a goal for a future video. But yeah, again, that is just another reason as far as a feeding schedule. You can actually help train yourself, not to let the fish train you. If you just get into the habit of like, I'm going to do this once a day, or I'm going to do this once every other day. You can actually pick your days that you're going to feed your fish and put it on a schedule. I mean, you can do this for any fish, but again, just the betas are just a more forgiving fish than most. But let's see here. I'm going to jump into the comments and see what we've got going. Star City Reef says, need to have another update video of the farm. We are actually working on giving a full tour of the whole, like, this happened almost a year ago, where we did a real big remodel in our farm, and it was holding a bunch of tanks at the time, and we decided to take all of those out, put a massive live rock vat in there, move it from one section of our warehouse into the actual farm, and we plumbed all of the systems together. Previously they had been on like 2 or 3 separate systems, but we plumbed everything together, added some fish racks, and we actually do have footage of that entire process. We've just been waiting on a couple things to come together to actually polish that off and finish it up. So, but yes, that is on the way, hopefully pretty soon here. Thank you, Star City Reef, and also thank you about mentioning the INDMAS stuff earlier. Let's see here, what else we got? Yes, Star City again. Saw the Cobalt. That Cobalt just added the new Seaview 50 gallon. They did. We are pumped about that, and as soon as we get those in our mitts, we are going to be going nuts over those. We are very excited. So yes, look forward to that coming up, and pay attention to our channels for more about that. Very exciting. Audrey says this month's giveaway is brought to you by Cobalt. Mostly, yeah. Well, at least 3 of the items are specifically Cobalt.
I just have some cherry and a little couple of...
And yeah, that is all the questions in the comments. If you do have any questions about what we're talking about, which at this point has been betas, or the aquarium keeping hobby in general, the Reef Aquarium Shop, absolutely drop those in the comments, and I will get to those as soon as I see them, or as soon as I wrap up what I'm already talking about. So let's go ahead and get back into the beta discussion because and something I do want to bring up. Audrey says in the comments the beta police were pleased with that tank, and I hope they were. You know, a lot of people are going to say that maybe that 3.2 is a little small, and perhaps it is. But again, like I said before, if you keep up with your water changes, then you shouldn't have any issues. And we try to get all of our customers trained on once a week water changes, even if it's just small amounts. And of course, there's debate on that as well. You can debate anything you do in the aquarium hobby. That's just apparently the aquarium hobby. There's like 1,001 ways to do any little thing. So, so of course, people are going to say, you know, prefer one thing over another. But with the proper filtration, which we are going to have on this kit, I think that size is perfectly fine. If you're gonna go and do something like filterless, you need to be doing live plants and a much larger container. If you were to not run a filter on a 3.5 gallon with a beta in it, that's just going to get so dirty so quick and be much more maintenance than you want to deal with. Unless you pop a filter on it, which you should, which is why what I was talking about earlier with the larger tanks. The larger the container, the easier it is to maintain it, because that's going to help with dilution. It just extends the period of time that waste is going to muck up that water. I say add live plants because live plants are going to pull those extra nutrients or the fish waste out of the water as well. The majority of the plants in my micro pond, and if you want to see more on my micro pond, there's a whole playlist on it. You can kind of see it from start to where it is currently, and I do intend on making more videos on that as well. I still need to make my waterfall for it, which I'm very excited about. I just have not gotten the pieces together for it. We've been real busy over here. But it's, I think I mentioned it earlier, I believe, but it is 8 gallons, and there are, it's the majority emergent plants. Like I've got pothos, there's a bog lily in there, some English ivy, and a few other things, and that is the majority of the plants in there, just kind of bushing out the sides of it. On the inside, I do have a dwarf lily, a red dwarf lily in there, and that's going nuts. So it is providing a decent amount of coverage, I guess. But again, I rarely have any issues with my nitrates, nitrites, ammonia. I maybe see like 10 parts per million on my nitrates at most at any given time in there. And again, I'm not running a filter on it, but larger tank. And the bigger the container you're using for this, the easier it's going to be. But when we're talking about betas, you know, if you want to keep like a single male, great. But if you're doing a larger container, maybe you want to do sororities. But then you're adding more waste into the tank, so the dilution factor is disappearing. So there you go. There's the arguments. Ryan says floating plants would be nice in that decoria to keep the beta from jumping. Absolutely. And if you can actually, and what I'm doing in my, I keep referencing this without actually having it behind me anymore, and of course. But with my micro pond, that's a main reason I put the lily in there was for surface coverage, but I also have the water level down like 2 inches because if you remember from one of my videos, that's how I lost the first beta I had in there. It didn't used to be a sorority. I did have just a single male beta in there, and he popped out one day and I lost him. So I dropped that by a couple inches, put a bunch of surface plants on there, and I haven't had any issues since. Yeah. Fam says, in this weekend I just got 2 African dwarf frogs. Fantastic, and we're gonna be talking about dwarf frogs here relatively soon as well. So look out for that. That's gonna be a good theme we will pursue here in a little while. Chase says, picked up a great looking electric blue Acara from you guys yesterday. We've been getting some really, really nice electric blue Acaras, and a while back they were just sending us these really small electric blue Acaras, and they were pretty faded out, and we thought it was just like, you know, in shipping, you know, we got them in the bag and we're like, what is this even? And then we get them in the tank, and I mean, we figured it out before that, but we get them in the tank, and we were expecting them to color up more, but they just really did not. But the ones we've been getting recently are just, pow, they're awesome, absolutely. So trying to get back into the beta discussion, but I keep doing exactly what I've been doing before, which is talking to you guys, which I don't know if I don't know about. But that's fine. I have not mentioned this yet, but I'm going to take you guys over to, let's see if this works. It does, yeah. Our website, TheReefIndy.com. This month we are going to be getting in a ridiculous amount of betas, and we're going to be getting a bunch of different types in. You can actually go to TheReefIndy.com because this is going to be all throughout the month. And on the top left there, you're going to see the in stock button. So check out the list, and this gets updated every Friday, and it has freshwater plants, saltwater, all of that good stuff on it. So there's my website plug. I needed to get that in somewhere, right? And honestly, I have mostly, I expended that spiel a lot because I was trying to do this in a bit of a different format today, but, you know, that's fine. I am going to go ahead and wrap this one up for this evening. I know it's a short one, but it was honestly a bit of a short topic, and I've got no more questions in the comments. So if you are not watching this live and you still have any more questions, go ahead and still drop them in the comments, and I will come back through later once I see them and still answer you down in the comments as well. Thanks for those of you who were actually hanging out with me today. I very much appreciate it. Very excited for our contest on Facebook. You can check us out. Look up TheReefIndy on Facebook, and we will be making the official announcement tomorrow, so you can get all the details on how to